Well, here we are. We've been here a couple of days. When I'm filming this, we just stopped here to film this. We headed out to Smokemont, down here to the rec center, village, or whatever you call it, welcome center. We're gonna look around and see what's going on. But that's the Great Smoky Mountain National Park entrance sign. Sitting here at Smokemont, out overlooking the field. And Mel could come right out there in that field this afternoon or first thing in the morning. And we here, down here at the village, I'm gonna ride the scooter down there after a while, film some of that village and look at that spot where that guy said them elk crossed the river, creek river back there. Well, we might get some pictures of them crossing the river. He had a real good one. What was the name? Steve Helms?
Steve Helms.
Hey, Google him. Steve Helms from Maggie Valley, and look at his pictures. He's friends with Jim Vale. All them good photographers get together somehow and collaborate or something. But he got some good pictures on there. So go in there and look. But we sitting here trying to scope things out. While we scoping things out, I'm back here cooking breakfast.
For me.
For who?
Me.
I got us a hoe cake going there. It's a mayonnaise hoe cake. I like to cook bread with mayonnaise. It's got eggs and grease in it. You don't have to put grease in it. Just put your dollop of mayonnaise in whatever you're going to cook. You don't have to have a bunch of extra eggs and a bunch of extra grease. So I got mayonnaise hoe cake going. I'm going to fry some sausage and fry a couple of eggs, and we're going to have breakfast. Sitting here at the Smokemont Visitor Center, getting ready to watch for elk. I was fixing eggs and sausage. Baby doll broke into that hoe cake. She canceled her egg and sausage. She just wants hoe cake. Let me give her a spoon. There it is. Over easy eggs, sausage, and hoe cake biscuit. That's breakfast in the mountains. We just had breakfast. I'm putting some cabbage on here. I'm frying some bacon, sauteing some onions. I'm going to put that in there and put a little water, put that cabbage in there. Put a little water in there and cook that cabbage down. We're going to have cabbage and salmon patties for supper. At Smokemont, it'll be dinner in the mountain, or rather, supper in the mountain. We're not going to eat no dinner. We're going to skip dinner, save it for supper. That's going to be supper in the mountain. That's built as a mountain home, but that was a typical home back in the day, even down in Florida. The only difference is the chimney over on the other side. They had to make brick. They make their chimneys out of stone up here, and the steps out of stone. But in Florida, Alabama, and around, people made brick to build their chimneys out of. They didn't go out and gather stone, so they had brick chimneys. Granny and them all had brick chimneys. Smokehouse. That's the stone pattern that everybody, all these rich folks now, like getting in their houses and stuff. But it was necessity back in the day. And there was a handicap ramp. They didn't used to have handicap ramps. There's a woodshed. Store the wood out of the weather. Wood pile. I remember when Daddy and them used to go up to Granny's in the early 50s for REA put electricity in their house. And there was 4 of them boys. 3 of them lived in Panama City, and Uncle Red made the 4th. They would go up on Saturday and cut wood. I remember we would go up and hunt in the Choctawhatchee River swamp there, squirrel hunt, whatever. And Daddy would come out, and then we would chop wood and put it on the back porch for Granny for the week. And boys would go up and take one Saturday a month and go up during the wintertime and stuff, chop wood for Granny where she didn't have to get out and get it. And we'd go squirrel hunting and then go by and chop the wood and put it on the porch. That's built as a mountain home, but that was a typical home back in the day. Even down in Florida. The only difference is the chimney over on the other side. They had to make brick. They make their chimneys out of stone up here. And the steps out of stone, but in Florida, Alabama, and around, people made brick to build their chimneys out of. They didn't go out and gather stone. So they had brick chimneys. Granny and them all had brick chimneys. Smokehouse. That's the stone pattern that everybody, all these rich folks now, like getting in their houses and stuff. But it was necessity back in the day. And there was a handicap ramp. They didn't used to have handicap ramps. There's a woodshed. Store the wood out of the weather. Wood pile. I remember when Daddy and them used to go up to Granny's in the early 50s for REA put electricity in their house. And there was 4 of them boys. 3 of them lived in Panama City, and Uncle Red made the 4th. They would go up on Saturday and cut wood. I remember we would go up and hunt in the Choctawhatchee River swamp there, squirrel hunt, whatever. And Daddy would come out, and then we would chop wood and put it on the back porch for Granny for the week. And boys would go up and take one Saturday a month and go up during the wintertime and stuff, chop wood for Granny where she didn't have to get out and get it. And we'd go squirrel hunting and then go by and chop the wood and put it on the porch. I expect these was beehives. These was sections of trees that were hollowed out by something, and bees had built in. And they went out and cut them and made hives out of them. That would be a beehive, my best bet. And would be beehives. And I ain't even looked over here. Let's see. Now you gotta listen. And I ain't smart enough to hook up nothing. That would be my guess. But I ain't seen the old well, unless this is the well here. Now, one thing they didn't have back in the day was grass. This place has got grass in it. But Granny and them kept every sprig of grass out of their yard. And the reason they kept grass out of their yard was fire control. Ash hopper. They kept grass and trees and everything cut back away from the house, where if wildfire broke out, the house wouldn't be in danger of being caught on fire. All these shrubs and grass were just fire starters. Granny had a gallberry broom, yard broom, and we'd go up there, we'd have to rake it, and we'd rake and hoe every sprig of grass out of her yard. Well, there's that stone chimney. In Alabama and Florida, they would be brick chimneys. They would get a brick mold and go down somewhere with a good clay, give them some straw, mix that mud and straw up and make brick out of it. Fireplace was the center of the life. Old pump organ there. I don't think them stairs meet code nowadays. All of them had benches and chairs. I remember sitting on the front porch with Granny. They calling this the meat house. We always call it the smokehouse. They smoke meat, cure it in salt, sugar, smoke it. They cure in sugar just like they did salt. That's why you got sugar cured hams and salt cured hams. They're calling it the meat house, but smokehouse down where I'm from. And I don't have to tell y'all what that is, most of you. That's the outhouse. The only thing it's lacking is a Sears and Roebuck catalog in there for paper. That's what we use, the old Sears and Roebuck catalog and newspapers. That's where you went to potty. It was cold in there in the wintertime. That's the chicken house. So don't open it, but it was open when I got there. Chicken house. Chickens right there, they're taking dirt baths, scratching that dirt up on themselves, dusting, taking dirt baths. So you see chickens doing that all the time before they caged them. This is a syrup kettle cooker. They fired it up and cooked syrup on it. Usually one or two families had syrup cookers in the community, and you would pay them. You'd grow your cane and cut it. You take it and they would grind it and they'd cook it, and they would toll the syrup. Like if you got a gallon, they might take a pint or a quart. I don't know what the ratio was, but they kept a little bit of the syrup for cooking it. And then they had syrup to sell extra all year long. But Daddy helped old man there in their community. He was this doodler. He just did whatever he wanted him to, grind cane, tote the tailings away from the cane mill, and he helped cook syrup. He said we're pretty good at cooking syrup when he was a young man. But that's how they got their syrup right there. Now that's the cane mill right there. You feed that cane in between them two steels right there, and it's driven. Normally there was a long pole on top of that, and a mule walked around, horse or an ox in a circle, grinding that cane. They're calling that a corn crib. Most time down home we just use a section of the barn there for a corn crib. That's a corn crib up here. There's a corn sheller. You use that to get your corn off the cob, take it to the mill to have it ground in the corn mill. Corn sheller. That corn sheller was to shell that corn off so you take it to the mill and have cornmeal made out of it. We make cornbread. Also, that cornmeal was used for dog food back in the day. They would take bacon fat they'd fried out and stuff they'd rendered the fat out of and mix it with that cornmeal and feed it to the dogs for dog feed. That's what they kept their hunting dogs up on. Hog lard and cornmeal. That was the dog food back in the day besides potato scraps. Buckboard wagon. Set up there, and I was used as a wagon to work in the field in and even to go to town on. It was the pickup truck in the day. It was the pickup truck in the day. Look up next to the roof there, how they vented these things back. I would have thought they'd got enough air through the clapboard siding. They got that invented right there. There you see some ground sleds. I heard Daddy talk about ground sleds all the time. They'd hook horses to ground sleds to break them early on so they wouldn't tear the wagon up. They use ground sleds like that to break horses and ox to use in the field. An old-timey ground sled. I want you to look at these hand-hewed logs. See them where they chopped it off with an axe right there? I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up, but I believe they call them an ad. And that's it. A little ox yoke right there. Yoke them oxen together. Daddy and them had a mule when his daddy died. And they traded the mule for an ox and some cash. And they just said they could turn the ox out and let it graze at died. You didn't have to feed it much corn and stuff as you did a horse. Lumber stored up in the crib, barn, and they'd put posts up there like that to dry. They'd cut posts and put them up to dry where they could use them. Okay, everything is notched to go in this stuff. And all of it's hand hewed. You can see the axe bark in them. See them right there? Where they hewed that smooth. Everything's notched. Big old, there's a big old ox yoke right there. We'll get them ox together and take them down the road, take them to the woods and log with them old ox like that. Look at this here. Hook. What's that new hook they got? I can't even think of the name of it. Command strips. That's the old-timey command strip right there. They'd hang horse collars on them. I can't really remember. It seemed like I can hear Daddy talk about Ames collars and stuff. That's a horse collar. That's a look at that command strip right there. They didn't go to the store and buy them. They went and made them. There's some old-timey farming implements right there, plows and everything. That's what they plowed with. And there's the hog pen. Looks like any hog pen I've ever had. Let you keep them on concrete, it's gonna be a muddy mess. They're gonna turn over the water, spill the feed. That's the way all hog pens look back in the day. But hogs were the mainstay back in the day. They had to have them eat. They made their food, the meat. Most of their meat was a hog. They could cure it. Now they'd kill a cow, pickle it and can it, but they could smoke and cure hog. Cured ham, cured side, bacon, everything. So they raised a lot of hogs back in the day. Out there was a small river. I can't pronounce the name of it. Most of the homesteads were built close to a creek, river, somewhere where they get water. It's a spring house. That's where you'd be stored stuff they can in jars and stuff. Spring house. Spring house. For canning jars and stuff. Back then they sealed it with beeswax. They didn't seal it with these mason jar lids. And there's a little orchard they got. Back in the day, the only thing fenced was the yard and the garden and a little area around the barn where you can keep stock shut up. But back in the day, it was mostly open range. You mark your hogs with cuts in your ears and mark your cattle or brand them. Or some people would cut the cow's ears, but everybody had their mark. They knew their hogs by their mark. Knew their cows by their marker or their brand. We're at Smokemont in the Great Smoky Mountains. And we've been hunting elk all day. Mama got a shot of an elk or two. We ain't seen many. They ain't like they were last time we was up here. But we having salmon patties and cabbage. There it is. That's cabbage and salmon patties. You need to flip them. Them gonna be good. What's supper like?
It's delicious.
What's the best? Salmon patties or cabbage?
I love both of them, but the cabbage is gone.
She done took business, done her business with that cabbage. She working on them salmon patties now. And I got my cabbage over here on about how it's going. My salmon patty right there. Got 3 more right there. Good supper.
Well, I made this journey with you.
If you like my Papa's channel, Road Maps and Chaos, make sure to like and smash that subscribe button.
We pray we'll see you in the rapture.